Welcome to Tangled and Splattered, where we leave all our worries behind when we make our fall inspired art. I have been trying to stay more intentionally connected with my loved ones by mailing cards and letters and getting off the socials in a personal capacity. I found myself drifting further and further from people, becoming less social while I was glued to the socials. Today's inspiration comes from that and from fall. I saw some other watercolor artists on here that were painting watercolor art on postcards. I loved it so much that I did a little digging and found some watercolor postcard paper and watercolor card paper. Now I'm ready to go. Fall has always been an inspiration for me, an endless supply of inspiration. So naturally, I wanted to paint some fall leaves. Each card here is going to get just one maple style leaf. I don't have an actual maple leaf that I'm using as inspiration, but after looking at the mounds of freshly fallen leaves in my neighborhood and doing a little online researching, I am satisfied that I have done enough to get an idea of what a leaf looks like, and so I can go ahead and give it a go. After starting out by taping down the cards, I wet the paper and painted the background in a ton of yellows. I then layered on various shades of orange and red on both cards. In this case, I was kind of thinking of the shape that the leaf would be is in the vertical way and up and down way. So I wanted the inside of the leaf to be yellow and the outer part of the leaf to be red. Also, I love rainbows, so of course, I went with a rainbow-esque shape for the colors. Then I added some more water to make sure that those colors could bleed together beautifully, and I let it do its work. I did see that some of the color was leafing the border, so I kept adding a little more color to the border of the painting so that it would be nice and rich. After letting the cards dry, which took quite a long time, I could see that the tape had lifted and the cards were a little distorted. That is not something you want to see with watercolor paintings, but it is normal to see if you haven't secured your watercolor painting and you use a lot of water. I then did a little more of the research on the shape of a maple leaf and decided to tape them down again, but this time horizontally. I tried to give a loose outline for what I thought would be the shape of the points of the leaves so I could work around that. So you can see me here working with the watercolor pencils to draw out the shapes of the leaves in brown. Then I start adding layers and layers and layers to the background. Now what we're doing is just trying to leaf the leaf alone so it can be an unbelievable beauty. I was going with a really dark green by mixing the darkest green and red I had on my palette. You can see I was mixing it in my dirty paint wells and wasn't really concerned about the color that was there before. The green I was going for was meant to be dirty and messy because I was just trying to let it make the leaf pop up from the background. When I said to add layers and layers and layers to the background, you'll see here that we are literally adding layers and layers and layers to the background. And when we're satisfied that the background is as dark as we want it, then we take a look. After all of those dark green layers on the background were painted, I decided it was too dark and I wanted there to be some more color in the background. So, after seeing some other watercolor artists use this lifting technique, I used a paper towel and some water to pick up some of that dark green color. Then, after that's done, you can see just a little bit of the reds and oranges showing through, along with some of the green in the background. And I like how this lightened up the background just enough for this painting. Next, I decided to paint the veins of the leaf on the cards. As I was painting the leaves, all I could think about was how similar the veins of the leaves are to the branches of the trees they fall off, and how it felt like in the background, instead of painting little veins to these leaves, I was painting little trees. That may be some inspiration for next time, but I loved the beauty and the connection. It also made me think about fractals and fractal art. Not fracking like oil, but fractals like math. It is something I learned a bit about when I was studying math in college. If you haven't checked out fractal art, you should do that. That may also come as a future inspiration for me, but for now, with all of the inspiration falling from the trees, we will focus on the leaves. So, after getting all the veins painted on these leaves, it's time to peel the tape, write the messages, and send the letters. I did have to order some more stamps, and I'm actually super excited for these new stamps and can't wait for people to get my cards. I hope they get as much joy as I did making, writing, and sending them. What do you think I should paint on my next set of cards? I have some inspiration in mind, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and I hope you will join us for our next inspiration.